More on that, we're joined by Julius Muchunguzi, who is the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission. Julius, many thanks for allowing to speak to us tonight. What specific measures has the Electoral Commission put in place to guarantee the workers' delegates' elections are free from manipulation, credible, and enough to inspire confidence?
Thank you very much, Kanari, and thank you for having me here on UG Votes 2026. So today, as you mentioned, the Electoral Commission was conducting these elections in the 4 regions across the country for non-unionized workers. For the information of the people viewing us, the election of workers MPs is done in 2 strands. The first strand is those of non-unionized workers who are workers that get a pay, have evidence of employment, but they do not belong to any labor union. It is that process that started at the sub-county level that moved on to the district level, electing 10 representatives at each of these levels, 3 of whom are women. And today, the districts across the different regions, the 4 regions, we are meeting to elect 10 representatives, 3 of whom will be women, and then they will add the 40 to those that will come from the labor unions. What the Commission has put in place to ensure that these elections take place effectively and without any incident. One is that because these are electoral colleges, the numbers are manageable, and they have been provided information at the beginning of these exercises. There was a session for voter education at that very stage. Then there were nominations at that very stage. There were campaigns at that very stage. And then people started voting the 10 representatives. So in terms of managing these elections at that level, the exercise from the reports I'm receiving from across the 4 regions of the country is that this exercise has gone without any incident so far.
Well, some workers argue that the electoral college system, where delegates elect MPs on their behalf, limits broader participation. I want to pick your comment on that.
I mean, these elections are guided by the laws, and the Electoral Commission simply implements the laws that are put to it by the lawmakers. If there are any concerns about how workers' MPs are elected, the recourse to that is to reform the laws and ensure the participation that they would wish to see. But I must mention that before, non-unionized workers were not part of this process. It was only those that were from labor unions, COFTI and NOTU. And the amendment in the Parliamentary Act brought on board non-unionized workers to ensure greater inclusion of all sets of workers that need to be represented in Parliament.
The Electoral Commission often faces accusations of leaning towards the ruling party for college elections. How do you respond to that?
There is no evidence that I know of to support that kind of allegation. It remains an allegation. The Commission works independently, works transparently, and ensures that everything it does is done without any bias or any inclination to any political group, political party, or individual.
Do you believe the Electoral Commission has publicized this particular election enough for people to participate?
The Electoral Commission has done a lot of publicity and mobilization because these are delegates that know that they have to participate in these elections. So you'll find that the general public, which is not part of the Electoral College, may not necessarily have all the details about how the exercise is going. But those people that are participating in these elections, the delegates that were elected at the sub-county level, at the district level, and those who were today at the regional conferences, knew what they needed to do, knew what they needed to do when, and I can tell you that there is no one who will say that for me, I didn't show up for these elections because I didn't know. That is the Electoral College for you.
Well, some people are saying that, look, this election has remained a preserve of a few. Is there a plan to broaden the number of delegates supposed to elect these MPs, 10 of them?
Again, that depends on the law. The law as it is today provides that there will be 10 from 4 regions, making it 40, plus those that will come from the labor unions, and those are the ones that end up electing the workers' MP. Is there a need to change? I don't know. But if there is a need to reform, then the people that can change the laws to ensure that there are more delegates to elect workers' MPs are the members that will be in the 12th Parliament.
Do you believe as Electoral Commission there is enough really participation and membership from the unionized groups, or that is not your concern as EC?
At the commencement of the exercise of election of non-unionized workers is drawn from the ministry responsible for labor. the ministry responsible for labor in Uganda, which is the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, is the one that brings together, convenes the first set of these elections at the sub-county level. So in terms of who is a non-unionized worker, the determination of that person is the ministry responsible for labor. The Electoral Commission comes in at that level of sub-county to conduct the election and then picks up from those delegates that are elected at that level. So that is how the law is structured. And do we have many people participating in this process? That's another matter. And perhaps that's a matter that the ministry and the lawmakers would wish to address themselves.